Hi, Supermom. This is Elena, your mommy tantrum specialist. And today I have a special episode of the Zen Supermom podcast for you. And it is special because after almost a year of doing this solo, so coming here every week to talk to you, how you can stop yelling at your kids, how you can be this anger-free, calm, unconditionally loving mom, no matter what, no matter what they do, no matter how tough it is. And that I do all of this inside the Zen Supermom program. After talking to by myself about all these things and all the amazing stuff that my clients are able to do once we start working together, today, this episode will be special because thanks to all of this growing, thanks to all of this word of mouth, and more moms joining the program, I came to a point where I realized, like, I cannot do this all by myself, and I have to do what I preach. I have to keep my boundaries, no matter how I love my work, no matter how much I want to help all the moms I can, I just cannot keep doing that by myself. So this is basically an announcement episode as well, because I want to introduce you to a special person, a first member of the Zen Supermom team, a first therapeutic coach that I'm hiring, who will be helping me with doing all of those one-to-one sessions inside the Zen Supermom program. So it was very important for me when I was realizing like how you might be feeling. That maybe you saw me somewhere on a Facebook or Instagram ad, you saw this like crazy no hair lady talking about how you can be a calm mom and how it's possible to start feeling better already in 2 weeks. And it's like, what? And so I gained your trust by sharing a lot of my personal stories, a lot of my dirty laundry, like what a terrible mom I was and in what a pain I was, and all the stories of my clients as well. And I gained your trust that way. So now that are switching on the mode from me doing everything inside the program by myself with you, we are switching into somebody else joining the team. And so you might be thinking like, okay, so I know at least a little bit this crazy Elena person. I trust that she is who she says she is and that she can do all these things. But how about like she's growing her team? So it means I will be doing my one-to-ones with somebody else. Like, who is that? And can I trust her? So this is what this podcast episode is going to answer for you. I want you to get to know her because I'm absolutely in love with her, and I have all the confidence that she will be able to help you to the same extent as I have been doing. That's why she's joining the Zen Supermom team. Hi, I'm Elena Gomez Rodriguez, and I'm a mental fitness coach for busy moms. And this is the first podcast to help you increase your stress resistance so that you can become a Zen Supermom and simply do it all while staying calm and happy. Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. So, hi, Silvia.
Hello, Elena.
Hey.
Thank you so much for inviting me to do this work with you. And I'm so grateful that you do this work in the world. I wish you were in my universe when I was a young mother, maybe not that young, but a mother of young children. So thank you.
And we are going to get into that because indeed you have a lot of experience, not only as a therapeutic coach who knows what she's doing and who can like help our moms like stop having the trauma that's triggering your anger. By the way, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen my free training, this is why you keep yelling. This is what we are doing inside the Zen Supermom program, getting out the roots of the trauma. And this is what Silvia can do so well. That's why I love having you here and joining the team, but also because you have gone through something like this yourself. You're a mom of two, right? So tell us, maybe let's start there. You're an expatriate mom, right?
Yes.
So that was an extra challenge, and you're a mom of two, and by now they are a little bit more grown up than where most of the moms joining the Zen Supermom program are. But tell us more about that, you being a mom.
Okay. So I'm 49. I'm Italian of origin, but I lived in the UK for 23 years. In fact, to the day, almost 23 years.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Anniversary.
So I divorced after 20 years long marriage 6 months ago. I have a daughter, she's 18 and she's about to leave home. And I have a son who is 13 who lives mostly with his dad. So there's loads that have gone through the last 49 years. So I'm excited to share my experience and my skills and expertise with you to help you really to reconnect with yourself so you can connect better with your children.
Thank you. Thanks, Silvia. And to the extent that you're comfortable sharing, like Zen Supermoms listening to me, they know that I talk about all of my like shameful, guilty experiences, everything, but you share whatever you feel comfortable sharing with. But I would be interested in your aha moments as a mom, because we are talking to moms, like most of the moms who are listening and who are watching us right now, they are either new moms or they have toddlers or young kids. So what is it that was the biggest shocker when you started on this motherhood journey? Like, what is it that you had to heal and go through as a mom that you had no idea it would be necessary?
Got so many to pick from. I don't know where to start, but I'll pick probably the most powerful one that is very alive with me. And that was my 18-year-old daughter. She's recovering from an eating disorder. She's been ill. She's much better now, but she got ill when she was about 12. Now she's 18. So when she got ill, my controller came through and I had to take total control of the situation. So I was there 100%. But at a certain point of the recovery, my job was to step away, and I could not do that. I could not see it. I could not do it. I was in a total reaction, post-traumatic stress disorder reaction. Every meal was like, you do this the way I want to do it, because this is how it is. And actually it was hindering my daughter's recovery at that point. And I didn't know what was going on. I was totally devastated and lost. I had, lost all energy. I could not go on. She wasn't recovering. She was actually, relapsing again. Then COVID hit, and I was, fortunately, I was able kind of to stop. And when I stopped, I realized what was happening. So that trauma that I had with a controlling mother when I was a child, I took all that behavior with me, all that trauma, and I was using it to control the situation. Essentially, I was scared what was going to happen. So I had to sit down. I was meditating at that point, like everybody else in the world, trying to center ourselves. And then suddenly this big insight came through that actually I was the problem. I wasn't the solution to my daughter. I actually was the problem. And that was a big, big moment, painful. But I did see all that dynamic that, my mother doing it to me, how I was doing it to my daughter. I was feeling resentful towards my daughter. That was shocking to me. How could I feel all that? Like, I was supposed to love her, not be resentful.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest moment.
Wow. So first of all, like, your daughter is safe now, right? You were saying that she recovered, she's okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations. And there are so many layers, like, where my mind is racing in so many directions right now, because I want to unpack at least a little bit for everybody who's listening to us right now. Because congratulations to you being able to do that after just like meditation sessions. Dear mom, supermom, this is usually not what you will be able to do, and you might have already tried, didn't work. So like, go ahead, do all the mindfulness, because yes, it will help you de-stress, create more mental space. But unless you are trained somebody like who can deal, who can heal, you're a professional who can heal trauma and who can start seeing these like all interrelated consequences, including the generational piece of what's happening, you will not be able to do this as a DIY. This is exactly why we are here as the Zen Supermom Program, so that we can do that with you, for you. We can take you by hand, because normally insights like this are not coming to people who are not trained in healing trauma. So kudos to you, first of all, Silvia, even for seeing it, because even for trained professionals, this ego thing that we are sacrificing, we know what's best for our kids as moms, right? And admitting it to ourselves, that not only feeling guilt for not doing it well, but then seeing like, oh my goodness, like I might be creating it at some level. This is one of the hardest things that I know I had to do. So well done on you for going there.
It was hard work, but and I've repeated this process, this realization again and again. over the years as well, with my son, who is spending so much time with my ex-husband. And if I can share this little story with you, Elena,
Yeah.
which is powerful. So I was feeling the rejection. I wanted, I was feeling rejected. I wanted him to be with me. And I realized that actually all that pain, it wasn't because I wasn't able to love him, because I didn't feel loved, and I felt alone and not good enough. So really, again, it was coming from, a selfish, in brackets, point of view. I needed to be loved by my son. And therefore I was trying to impose him something that he didn't feel right for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is such a vulnerable sharing as well, right? And I realized like I was in exactly the same place, like this resentful mom feeling like, isn't that why we're supposed to have kids, like, right? So that somebody loves us unconditionally. And then the realization that it should be the other way around, and that you cannot give the unconditional love to anybody else unless you feel it for yourself. And then you actually can make the other person free from any attachment, like from any requirements. Like, you need to make me feel loved and respected and appreciated because I'm your life. I'm your mom. I sacrificed my life for you in so many ways. So you better be grateful and you better love me no matter what. Like, this is a hard one to see and get used to as well. Yeah, and also
you sounded like my mother.
oh, because this was my mom. This is so funny because I just had a session with a client before we hopped on this call, and this was her biggest aha from the session. It was just our second session, I think, together. And she had such a breakthrough that I had a goosebumps, because she said exactly, I did not realize that it was my mom's voice in my head that entire time when I was panicking about my kids and trying to keep control, like something similar what you said about your daughter. Her mind was blown. Like, at the logical brain level, I knew what was going on. I could analyze the situations and I was trying to figure it out, but I have never felt it in my body. And I never heard that voice so clearly in my head. So she was completely, so yes, it's generational, by the way, dear Supermom. If you haven't figured it out, this is not your fault. It's not your mom's fault either. She did the best she could, but you can decide this is where it stops with me. And this is what Silvia did as well with your experience, right? So I'm interested because I heard you talk about your controlling part, like the voices in your head. I heard you talking about the pleasing, like the people pleasing parts in your head, which were like, I'm going to take care of you so that you give me love back. Like, this is the people pleaser, right? Not being able to say no, therefore having no boundaries, therefore then having too resentful because people take more than you're willing to give them for the payback they give you, right? So all of us, like, we have many voices in our head, but I'm just curious if there are some other that you noticed, if you had some other aha moments about the voices in your head, like, and the mess they were creating for you in your life, and especially as a mom.
Oh wow, that's a good question. I need to make you think for a second.
Yeah, I'm putting her in the spot, you see, guys, because I did not, I never like script any of my podcast episodes. I did not script this interview either. So you're getting out of Silvia like your real stuff. Okay. Authenticity, one of the biggest values of Zen Supermom.
So repeat the question again, Alina, because you really threw me there. I got a couple of things, but I'm not sure if they fit right the answer that you want.
Yeah, give us what you want to share. My question actually doesn't matter. It's what it triggers in you. That's what we want to hear. So what came up?
So what my realization was, especially, talking to you, preparing for this, collaboration and this work together, I realized that I was thinking back when my relationship with my son, I remember so many times hugging him, kissing him, all these loving moments, beautiful. And I thought, okay, that was a good relationship. Why are we having the problems that we're having now? And then I realized that I was connecting with him when I wanted, when I was connected with myself, and I needed that. But I wish for the clients, for your clients, for your audience, to be connected with a child when the child needs them. And that was such a powerful, like, insight, download the other day. Wow, how many times he needed me and I wasn't there because I was, away with the fairies somewhere else.
Well, if with the fairies, that would be the better case scenario. Usually we are busy in our heads with the to-do list, with all the time pressure, schedule, like we have to be somewhere, we are not getting it there on time, like hair on fire. Like, yeah, that's where I used to be most of the time in my head. Even when I was playing with my daughter, being there physically, making the time, not even being on my phone or my computer, anything, but I was in my head. Yeah.
And talking about parts and, the controller and the judge, I had all of them in my head all at once. I had no discernment. It was like completely, what the word is, escaping. I was them.
Yes.
Me.
Identified, like associated with them. There was no separation. Yeah.
There's no separation. And now that I have that awareness, I can see when they're coming and when they're going, then I'm in control.
Yeah.
I can be whoever I want because I can decide who I'm going to be right now.
Excellent. Brilliant. So congratulations to you. And by the way, for anybody listening who's not inside the Zen Supermom program yet, this is the mental fitness piece of what we do. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to link. I need to make a note probably of this because I'm not going to be editing this podcast episode anymore. I have a podcast editor as well. Congratulations to myself. Link the saboteur assessment because I want to give you, everybody listening right now, the chance to take this assessment for free. Unless you have done it already, if you're listening to the podcast for a while, you have seen it already linked to a previous episode. What this will do for you, it will give you the ability to go and have a look really underneath the surface. What are the voices that you can hear in your head the most often? And no worries, you don't have to freak out. You're not like multiple split personality disorder. We are not diagnosing you right now. It is completely normal that you have voices in your head and not just the voices of your mom or dad or whomever hurt you in the past. But typically, classic for me, it was hyperachiever, perfectionist, controller, together with my judge. Like all of us have like super strong inner critic and judge in our head. But then underneath that, you have usually a combo of 2 or 3 more. So this assessment that I'm going to link for you will give you a much better insight into who it is that's talking in your head, because that will give you the power then, exactly as Silvia said, to dissociate from them, like detach, to see them like it's them. And that's what you learn inside the Zen Supermom program, why they were created, that they had actually positive intentions for you. They were created for a good reason. It was actually a smart, brilliant survival strategy for you at the time of your childhood. But it's not serving you anymore, right? It's kicking you in your butt. That's why you're here yelling at your kids. That's why you're here burning out as a mom. And you don't know, you're like, I don't know why. I'm reading parenting books and doing mindfulness and it's not helping. I don't know why. Well, this is why. There's a little bit more going on underneath the surface, and you can start uncovering it by doing this free assessment. So I'm going to link that for you. Now, Silvia, going to the second part of what the Zen Supermom program is about, because it's the mental fitness piece, like working with those voices in your head and getting your strength to actually face them and chase them away. But the second part, and this is where you will play a big role, is that trauma healing, and what we started talking about a little bit before, like breaking that generational cycle of whatever patterns our parents had and imprinted on us, and we just soaked it in without any critical thinking because our parents are a role model, right? But this is the big piece, what you will be doing inside the Zen Supermom program. So doing the one-to-one trauma therapeutic healing sessions with the clients. So I would be interested in hearing why you even went on that path of becoming, because this is how we met, by the way. We met in that course, in that program, where you can learn how to do this so effectively that even 1 or 2 sessions are enough to have a big load of your trauma, like dropping off your shoulders. And I was mentoring Silvia in one of the student groups. So what is it that even made you join that training? Why is it that you even wanted to be able to do that for other people?
So what happened over the years, I lost myself so many times. I lost myself in relationships. I lost myself, because as a teenager, I didn't know who I was because my past experience. I lost myself when, I had to look after my daughter, and also lost myself, on the way, through the divorce process as well. So I lost myself so many times that I said, enough is enough. I need to find the root of this. And that's really, I just had to look inside, because outside I tried everything, like you said, and there was no answer. Things were coming back to me. So I had to look inside. And I think it was just a process. Like people bumped into your podcast, but maybe they're coming from somewhere else. So it was like almost following my intuition was I need to heal myself, and things came to me. So this is how I went through. The reason why I do it, and if I can share, Elena, this morning I used one of the processes that we use in the program, and I took myself through, and I could see the generational trauma. I could see my granddad, who I never met. He was an orphan. He lived on the streets of Naples, and then he got married with my grandmother, and all that, all that went through. There was domestic violence, there was alcoholism, there was, betrayal, everything. Then my mother, I could see this morning through the process that actually how generation by generation the trauma is dissolving. How my grandmother was, how my mother was, and how I was. Basically, in this scene, I could see my mother totally overwhelmed by rage and, scared, I guess. And she was totally out of control. And I was in my little room, locked in a cupboard. And I could see that she was as lost and scared as I was. It's just the strategies was a different one. But I could clearly see how I'm breaking down that generational trauma, and how my kids, and this is why I do this primarily, this is again a selfish, I'm doing it for my children, and then for your children, your audience children, because I don't want that to carry on. We need to stop it, because so much knowledge, so much awareness, so many tools that we can use, that we need to stop this. There is a need to go through another generation.
Generation cycle breakers, absolutely. Yeah, I'm there with you. This is exactly why you're joining Zen Supermom. Yeah, you also have experience using different techniques, because I know that you have not been trained only in this one. Where do you see the advantages, like from your experience working with your clients and with yourself? What is it that you love the most about like the techniques that we use to heal the trauma?
Because they're so real. I mean, we can, I got clients, I think I know what's happened to me and why it happened, but why am I got this reaction? Why I'm still afraid? I work with people who have, big traumas as well. And because they're stuck in the bodies, they can understand it, but as soon as they feel it, they just shut it away. But the thing with the trauma is still in there. So the body keeps the score. And we'll keep it until you really release it. So all the techniques that I train in different techniques, but they all go in the same direction, a somatic in the body, bringing back present to what's happening inside. And the beautiful thing is for now that I before my thoughts come to my head, I can feel it in my body. And I know exactly that, something is coming. And then I can feel the sensation, but I can stop the thought, so I don't get stuck in that loop.
Yeah. What I would add on top of that, because this is absolutely what you said is so true and so helpful, especially for moms who are super smart. I tend to attract like highly successful, smart moms who are architects, lawyers, doctors, like you name it, the top prestigious brain requiring profession. We have them inside the Zen Supermom program. But for them especially, it's so difficult to connect with the body because it's been perceived like whatever negative emotions I'm feeling, that's weak. And you've been taught that it's not okay to feel like to spend any time basically feeling those emotions and feeling weak. So let's power through. Let's just work harder. Let's be more disciplined and more focused and stay in our brain. Just learn and analyze logically, find the best way, pros and cons, and let's go and power through. Let's disconnect what is bringing you down, which is the body. So yeah, I love what you said about the body. Plus, I would add on top, there's the subconscious mind aspect of it. A lot of techniques, the trauma techniques that we are using inside the Zen Supermom program, it sometimes feels even like visualizations. It's so imaginative, it's so creative, but the purpose is actually that's how we can bypass the smart logical brain that wouldn't even let you go to a creative land where you connect with that body through your emotions, through your sensations, through your gut feeling, to heal the trauma that is still stored there in your system. Yeah. So I would even add that it goes even deeper than the somatic experience, because there are lots of like methods that are focused on somatic experiencing only. We connect it all together, all of it, your brain, your soul, your heart, your body. And that's why it's so effective and so quick. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Beautiful point. Thank you, Silvia. So I'm just thinking, for somebody who's listening now, so they heard who you are personally, they could hear from how you were talking about the healing trauma that you know what you're talking about. So is there anything else that you feel like you would want to share with somebody who will see you for a first time and they are coming into a session and they are like scared and like, I have no idea what's coming. Just can I trust you? Are you going to keep me safe? Like, is this going to be okay? These 5 sessions we will be having together to clean up my childhood trauma that I usually don't even know that I have, which is what most moms are feeling like in their first session. What would be your message for them?
Well, first of all, well done for stopping and listening to this, because that is the first step to your healing. Now, I understand that it feels scary to actually take the step and actually do the work. But I promise you that the fear you feel now is going to be just gone in few minutes once you start the session. Because first of all, at work, I decided, I said yes to Elena because I know that she's trauma informed. And our priorities is to keep you safe and to hold a space for you so you can be full stop. Because probably you haven't possibly able to be yourself for a long time. So don't buy into that fear. Just do the work. You know, even if you want to look at your emotions because your traumas, because it's too scary, they're too painful, they're going to stay there anyway. In the long term, they're going to be even more painful. Let's just do the work and just, you know, and again, clear this generational trauma so your children will be more healed and complete, and, you know, they can be themselves and their children even more so.
And we keep you safe. Beautiful. I wouldn't have said it better. So thank you so much, Silvia. I think that wraps it up, unless you have like any last words of wisdom, anything else you would like to share. I'm
just looking forward to be part of this mission, really, because I think it is a mission. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Silvia. Thank you for coming on. For anybody who would love to hear more or learn more about Silvia, you will see shortly her bio and a little bit more about also her professional credentials on the Zen Supermom website. So alenagomezrodriguez.com. I will link that as well for you. You have it already in the description of all the podcast episodes. So that's where you can go deeper and start following Silvia and start watching, like, who is this beautiful, smart, knowledgeable lady who's going to have me in her hands and she's going to help me clean my trauma. Yay!
Let's do this work.
So let's do this, ladies. We are here for you. I would love to hear from you. Any questions you might be having, any aha moments as well. And I cannot wait to see you inside the Zen Supermom program so that we can finally start helping you. Take care, Supermom. Thank you, Silvia. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.